Hi everybody, it is time for me to set my bullet journal up for the month of December 2022. My bullet journal really has been, I don't want to say a fail, because I did get some joy out of it, but it has not worked out the way I wanted it to, but for completion's sake, I wanted to finish the year out. So I have been kind of in a love-hate relationship with this year, leaning strongly more towards dislike and or ambivalence. Anyway, let's talk supplies. I'm still using my Passion Journal. This is the larger size. It's, I believe, B5. I will be using a handful of Pitt Artist Pens and Tombows dual brush markers, which you'll see the color palette in a little bit, and I will leave them listed down below. I will be using also some Pitt Artist Pen regular like fine liners for the actual drawing of it. I've just got an assortment of sizes of these guys. And then when it comes to slicing the page, I have my slice tool. Got this link. This thing is probably one of my favorite discoveries this year. I discovered it thanks to Julie's plans, and it has become probably the easiest knife for me to use. It still has its issues. I struggle with knives in general, but this one is the one I'm least afraid to slice myself open with. And then I've got my cutting mat in case I need to use that. And you know, of course, my whiteout, things like that, they're all off to the side in case I fuck up and need them, because I often fuck up and need them. Okay, before we get into the actual setup, let's talk about what my theme is going to be for this year. This whole year, I have been doing floral themes, and my patrons will get to vote next month in December on what my overall theme of the year is going to be for my bullet journal next year, because I will be using a bullet journal next year. Spoiler alert. I mean, that could always change. It could change. But it's 99% where I'm at right now. And my patrons get to vote on the monthly theme. I give them a handful of color schemes and right now flowers, but next year might be something else to pick. And of course, the ones I put up there are ones I would be happy to do regardless, but there's always one I root for, and this month I got the one I'm rooting for. I also am picking my quotes, one of my favorite bands. I don't know if I'm going to do that again next year or not. Haven't decided. To end the year out, I am going with one of my favorite bands of all time. I've seen them twice live. Once with, where are they? Oh, Journey. I was going to say, where's Journey? But then I forgot Journey was my annual setup band. I saw them with Journey, but I also saw them on their own, at a festival, and that's hard. And then the flower I'm doing is the one, it has been in the running since June, I believe, of the first year I started. So a couple years back, the first year I started having my patrons vote on these things, and it had never won. And this month I kind of might have put my finger on the scales, because I was like, bruh, I really want to do this. And this is my last flower of the month. And it almost was beaten by Amaryllis, but it was not. That's Rose. Specifically, I picked the color palette to go with kind of like one of those blush fire and ice roses, because those are my favorite roses. All right, now that we've got that taken care of, let's do the cover page. And what I'm thinking of doing, I kind of want to do just some roses going down, like a border of roses, and then maybe write the month underneath it, like right here, so that when the Dutch door opens, you see the month here. So I've counted 14 spaces inwards so that I have like a spot to kind of center whatever I put here. So I am going to just start with my rose doodlin', my doodlin' of roses. I want to add like sort of a scribble of color on top. Sometimes I like to color things in detail, but this like kind of scribbly look also is something that makes me really happy. And then when I cut it with the slice, it actually went fairly easy, which was nice for me because sometimes it's kind of a pain in the ass. So then what I want to do is turn it sideways and put December, but I want to kind of follow the bumpiness of the roses so that it almost looks like I meant to do it that way. I actually decided to grab the mild liner highlighter to write the December because I wanted to do it in cursive, but I wanted a bigger brush tip than the Pitt Artist Pen, which is the gray I have picked out. So I went with this guy instead. I wanted to do it kind of along the line, and that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but adding the leaf kind of works for me. So then what I want to do under here is put the colors along the top and then put in a quote from a heart song. So the way I decided to do this was I'm going to be doing this spread, and then I'm going to be doing a second one with a calendar. And the first cover spread is going to be from the era of like the 1970s badass rockin' heart. I'm going to use a quote from Straight On. But then when I get to the calendar spread, I'm going to go to the 1980s, more 80s style heart, which I'm going to use Alone, which is another one of my favorite heart songs. And it's so funny. Jess and I have a conversation all the time about like bands like Heart or Chicago or the Doobie Brothers, where there is definitely a kind of a line of demarcation in between the 70s version and then the 80s version. And he usually is all like grumpy about the 80s version because it's a lot more like 80s style, like whiny, like man bitch rock is what he refers to it as, what I refer to it as. But like I enjoy rockin' 70s Chicago and whiny Peter Cetera 80s Chicago. And I enjoy rockin' 70s heart, and I enjoy, power ballad 80s heart. Now, when it comes to the Doobie Brothers, I enjoy 70s rock and doobies, but Michael McDonald Doobie Brothers maybe not so much, but that's just because Michael McDonald's annoying. But the point being is I wanted to represent both sides of heart here because I like them both. So fuck off, Jesse. And the quote I'm going to be using is from the chorus of Straight On, which is probably one of my top heart songs. It's one of my barf dancing songs. If you missed that playlist, it's on my Spotify. But it makes me dance like barf in Spaceballs. Now I'm stronger. Now I'm coming through. Straight on for you. And I mean that to mostly represent both the holiday season and 2023 in a bullet journal. So I love how this quote looks. I was going to go through and do the same backing amount of the little line work to do the popping it out, but it's a long quote. I don't want to. Maybe I'll just do it for the straight on part. So one of the things I wanted to talk about in this video was my thoughts on bullet journaling for next year. And I've kind of talked about this already. I did a video recently on evaluating your planner system, and it is really about being honest with yourself and making some honest observations and then drawing conclusions. Sort of like a half-assed planner scientific method, if you will. Well, one of the big things that came out of it when I was doing it for myself was that I really enjoy this process of setting up my bullet journal. I love having space to just write notes, but that it didn't have a place in my personal planning because the Moxie life is plenty for me for that. And because I was trying to keep my work and my personal planning completely separate from each other to maintain boundaries, which is something I definitely want to continue for next year. And this bullet journal didn't have a place in my personal planning. I think one of the things to remember is that there's always room for improvement. And so if you are happy with your planner system, you don't need to overthink it. But if you feel like going through and evaluating it, then do that, Anyway, so I'm pretty sure my planner system is likely going to include a bullet journal next year, and it'll likely be work related, but I'll still do these fun setups with whatever my patrons vote on. That is the goal. Although I do have some planners I'm looking at for reviews. I'll be filming some of those videos today while I'm sitting here, so who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind. But the current thought process is that my planner will likely be for work next year, and I will still do decorative setups, but the planner it could be decorative and it could be just functional depending on my mood and how much time I have to put into it. So, but it'll definitely get more used than this, where I do the setup and then shit doesn't always get used. I'm not just doing it for the YouTube. I have every intention to use it, but that doesn't mean that's how it's working out. So in practice, it seems like I'm doing it for the YouTube. Anyway, moving to the next spread, I'm just going to put a calendar in. I'm going back to the March calendar, the lousy March weather. I love this calendar. I basically want to recreate this calendar for December. And then on the other side, I want to put a quote from Alone, which is one of my favorite Heart songs. Till now, I always got by on my own. I never really cared until I met you. I fucking love this. This is one of the songs I sing in the car when I'm by myself. This song and All My Life by Casey and JoJo and Faithfully by Journey. Those are the songs that I tend to sing at the top of my lungs. And then people in cars next to me are like, what the fuck? All right. This should be right. I seriously was staring at my Google Calendar back and forth to see if I could get this right. Now I'm number it. We'll find out if I'm right or not. Okay, I kind of feel like I should have used the smaller marker to write the December because I almost lost lettering chicken, but I did not lose lettering chicken, so I will take it. And everything came out okay. Fucking thank God. This and the cutting of my cover page are the two most stressful moments in almost all of my planner life every month because the room for fuckery is so roomy. And I might be too self-congratulatory. I still haven't a quote to put in, but I'm gonna take it for the moment because fuck yeah, I feel good about me. At the moment, I feel good about me. I know that this is super simple and I just did sort of a light marker rose, but honestly, I'm feeling super simple right now because I don't know how much of this I'm going to use this month, but I'm excited because I think for next year, one of the things I want to do is reincorporate washi tape and just get all over the place the way I used to and stop feeling so precious about it. That's something that I need to really break myself of, especially if I'm using it for work. I don't want to spend all my time being precious because I got fucking shit to do, man. Anyway, so yeah, here's my calendar spread. Here's my cover spread. I love these colors. I love that this is sort of the end of this floral journal, although who knows what is going to be showing up next year. If you would like to get in on that, just join the Patreon. Even the lowest $1 tier gets you in on that voting. I hate fucking advertising. It feels so janky. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Are you a bullet journal? Are you going to bullet journal next year? If you're not a bullet journal, what are you going to be using for your planning system next year? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, friends, peace.